The United States' economy runs on shipping. As of 2022, the total value of shipments in the United States was estimated to be around $1.5 trillion, and the industry is only expected to grow. But while over the past century the landscape of shipping has changed dramatically, one company has persisted in becoming the largest courier company in the world. But it was far from an easy road getting to this point. Jim Casey, founder of UPS, was the son of poor Irish immigrants who found himself providing for his family before he was even a teenager. But in persevering through failure after failure, managed to create a shipping company to dominate the parcel delivery game. This is the story of UPS's founder, and this is Learn Something New. James Casey was born to parents Henry and Annie Casey in 1888. His father was an immigrant from Ireland, and after moving to America opened up a bar in Nevada. On the weekends, and pretty much whenever he had free time, Henry prospected for silver in the surrounding areas. But this side hustle would cost him dearly, contracting a lung disease common in miners. This made it incredibly difficult for him to continue working in the dry Nevada desert climate. So when his son James, who would go on to be known as Jim for the rest of his life, was just 9 years old, he, his parents, and his 3 siblings pulled up their roots and moved to the ever-growing city of Seattle, which at that point had a population of 65,000. But although the city was one of the largest on the west coast of the United States at that time, it was about to grow like it never had before. In the summer of 1897, over 100,000 prospectors and their families came to Seattle for a chance at finding large sums of gold that was rumored to have been found in the Klondike region of Canada's Yukon Territory. Seattle had a port that people would use to sail into the region and pan for gold. Jim's father soon wanted to join in on the action. But this was a notoriously treacherous place to sail, with only 1 in 4 ships making the journey successfully. But Jim's father would not be on one of them. His ship wrecked on the way there, barely making it to a nearby port. Now, only getting sicker from the disease he had contracted in Nevada, Henry returned to Seattle. The family's constant financial woes, his father's sickness, and a wealth of opportunities for those with little to no training or education meant that young Jim would leave his schooling behind at the age of 11 to join the workforce. His first job? To assist a delivery driver for one of the leading stores in Seattle, earning him just $2.50 per week. As he rode along, he began learning the streets, alleys, and numbering system of the city, and it wouldn't be long before he began to use this knowledge to his advantage. Though just 3 weeks after starting that job, he quit. He had found a higher paying position delivering for a tea store, earning him $5 per week. Jim's 2 younger brothers were taking jobs as well, all in an effort to support their family, scraping by on $6 a week that they brought in together. By mid-1901, however, Jim felt that he needed to go back to school if he were ever going to find a job where he could do more for his family, so he quit the tea store, taking a lower-paying night shift position at the American District Telegraph, so that he could continue making some money on the side when he wasn't in classes. It was there he delivered messages for 12 hours as a messenger boy from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. While he was there, he befriended one of the other young boys, Claude Ryan. They would help each other out wherever they could, and had an extremely diverse set of deliveries. Jim and Claude were notifying railroad engineers of emergencies, collecting bail money, delivering alcohol, cocaine, and opium, sometimes even following spouses for suspicious husbands and wives. And while the two got along really well during this time, after 2 school terms of trying to burn the candle at both ends, so to speak, the constraints on his time, energy, and his family's need for more money never to return for any further education. But he had gained an interest in learning, whether by reading or in asking the right questions to intelligent people he met along the way. But in 1902, his father finally succumbed to his illness, leaving 14-year-old Jim as the man of the house, with his mother and 3 younger siblings to look after. From here, he tried to think of ways that he could make some serious money, though without much success. He tried a telephone message service, which failed because there wasn't widespread adoption of the technology in Seattle yet. Then, like his father before him, he tried mining for gold in Nevada, which also didn't work out. And although a different messenger business he started while in Nevada began doing well, after one of his business partners was shot and killed, he decided to abandon it and return to Seattle. Following these adventures, a 19-year-old Jim would reunite with his friend Claude Ryan to start yet another messenger service. this time called the American Messenger Company, on August 28, 1907. After securing a loan of $100 in startup funds, they acquired 2 telephones, 2 bicycles for long-distance deliveries, and hired 6 young boys to work for them. They claimed to offer the best service and the lowest rates compared to their 9 competitors in the Seattle area. Moreover, they told customers the truth about when they would pick up their message or package, which, surprisingly, was an unusual practice in the competitive business. This led to the creation of Jim's motto, which became, "Never promise more than you can deliver, and always deliver what you promise." Jim and Claude knew the flow of goods and information in Seattle from their time working there. They had posters all around Seattle, with their phone number and their service and price offering. They charged 15 to 65 cents per message, depending on the distance, or 25 cents per hour for errands. American Messenger offered 24-hour service 7 days a week, with the 2 founders often taking turns sleeping on the old table they used as a desk in their tiny basement office. As in his prior experience, Jim and his friends were willing to take on any odd job that came in on the phone line. One posed for an art class while another took a blind man to a funeral. They ran stores when the owner went to lunch and walked dogs for their other customers. This made the business complex and hard to plan for. In addition, many customers would call several messenger companies and then give the business to the first to arrive, further wasting the time of his messengers. Jim was hungry for a way to streamline his business, and he finally found it when the nearby King Brothers clothing store hired American Messenger to deliver merchandise to customers. This consistent daily business was a huge leap forward for American Messenger. They moved to bigger offices and opened up a second location in Seattle when his younger brother, George Casey, joined the business in 1911. By 1912, they had 10 messengers at work, which swelled to 75 in the Christmas season. But Jim's ambitions were still not satisfied. Now, he wanted the delivery business of other Seattle retailers, especially the giant department stores which dominated the retailing in that area. His idea was that the stores would save money by eliminating their large fleets of horse-drawn delivery vehicles, and their customers would receive merchandise from multiple stores in one delivery, rather than waiting at home all day for multiple deliveries. Merging his company with another large company in Seattle at the time, Casey was able to grow into the largest delivery service in Seattle, with 4 cars, 5 motorcycles, and 30 foot messengers in 1915. The company was generating $2,200 a month by this point, but Casey knew that in order to grow even larger, they would need more capital, selling off stock in the company for $10,000. Then, it was just a matter of how to use this newfound stack of cash to grow the company. Originally, they were planning on buying a large fleet of bright yellow vehicles to attract attention, as well as tossing around the idea of painting them different colors to make people think that the company was larger than it actually was. But they were warned that their retail partners were extremely proud of their own brightly colored vehicles, so they pivoted to a more understated color, Pullman Brown. Pullman Brown was a color famously used on railroad cars to minimize signs of dust and dirt, and so the brown fleet was made, with the color remaining mostly the same up to the present. The company was originally focused on the business-to-consumer market, delivering for retailers in the community, but they didn't see monumental growth until they began to expand it outside of Seattle. But while acquiring a troubled delivery service in California, they found that they couldn't use their name in the area, as another company was already using it. Jim's brother said that he liked the word United, like United Fruit, and although Jim initially thought United Parcel would be a good name for the company, an investor would persuade him to consider United Parcel Service instead, giving the company its current name, as we see it today. From there, they expanded in every conceivable direction, acquiring, opening new locations, moving into B2B deliveries, larger fleets, expanding into air delivery, and more. Jim Casey led UPS for 55 years, continuing as its CEO until 1962, when he relinquished the position at the age of 74. Yet, he never lost interest in the company he built, remaining on its board of directors nearly to his death at the age of 95 in 1983. He never lost his ambition either. When UPS achieved coverage over 48 states in 1975, Casey would tell his associates, "But we are only serving 5% of the world's population," in an effort to keep them from ever getting too complacent. From its small beginnings of a kid just trying to provide for his family to a company that delivered over 6 billion packages in 2022, the story of UPS was a story of never giving up despite the failures. never giving in despite the challenges ahead, and when faced with seemingly insurmountable odds, rising to the occasion. The story of UPS is to say that failure is always a possibility, but it's never the end. Thanks for watching Learn Something New. If you liked this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. It helps a ton. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.